Hi, please, anyone here? Just comment if you can hear me. Hi. Okay, I'm happy to see that people are redirecting here. Trust me, like I tried everything with the last way. I had to change the link. I didn't want to, but I had to. So because of this, I'm not going to start like immediately. I think I'll give 2 minutes. Just a 2 minute wait, and then we'll get started. Maybe a minute. Okay. All right. I think we're good to get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Linda. Okay, just the final check. Can you hear me? Can you try again because it would suck to start and like realize no one could hear me. Okay, so my name is Linda. I'm a front-end developer at Bitcoins, and there's a little lag, but I don't think it's that obvious. So basically, like I've been announcing again and again, we're here to talk about starting your programming journey. And I know a lot of you, well, not a lot, I don't know how many people, just a few people are here, but based on people that are here, have been wondering on, like, you've heard of programming, it's really popular, but you're not like so sure that you can do it. Programming has this air of, oh, it's really smart, you speak the language of computers, so like you can't just walk into it, you have to talk to be a programmer. Well, I don't know, maybe programmers, it makes programmers look special, but it's not really like that. About, let me see, like a year and a half ago, I was one of those people that was curious about programming. I think in school there are some people that, the computer science students and everything. And from distance, I was like, I also felt like, wow, what they're doing cannot be replicated. And I remember having a conversation with one of the computer science students. Then I was like, I want to get into programming. He was like, yeah, you can. It's really easy. I was like, I didn't believe him then because like you're making websites for my school. How can it be that easy? I'm not here to try and tell you that, oh, hey, programming is easy peasy, get quick rich, but I'm just saying that it's not as difficult as you might think. So I, after the webinar, I'm going to send a material that will be a summary of everything that I talk about. So don't worry if you're not jotting down or you don't remember everything. I'm going to send a summary. So first, let's get started with what you need to start learning how to program. You have to learn programming. First, you need a computer. There are some apps or something that say, oh, you can learn on your phone or something, but that won't take you very far, especially if you want to actually work as a programmer. So you actually need a computer. For the basics, you don't need some high-level computer, just something that comes on and keypad and connection. You know that everything we do right now is on the internet. So I don't think that would be that hard. So after that, you also need the will to learn. And Google. You need to be ready to learn. And when I mean learn, you also have to be ready to Google. You're going to Google a lot. And that doesn't mean that you're stupid or anything. A lot of programmers you Google every day. So with that, you can get started, right? But then when you want to get into programming, it's not really dive into because most of the time when you want to learn programming, I think I was actually like you Google what are popular programming languages to look at. Everybody say, oh, it's Python. Python is heading there. Look at where it started from. Look at where it's going to. But like you cannot just like learn Python, like just dive in and just start learning Python out of context. You have to know why you are learning Python. Like in what field is this knowledge of Python going to be applied? So first, you should choose a specific career path. So as for me now, I'm a front-end developer. And if I just spent my early days learning Python, it will have for me to connect the dot between being a front-end developer and the language Python. And it would mean that I'll spend all this time learning Python. And then after like let's say 3 months, 6 months, I realized, oh, I really love front end. I love designing things and colors and bringing them to life. And then I want to do that, but then I don't have the knowledge to do that because I spent all this time learning Python. And Python is not going to change the color of my text from black to blue. I'll have to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So if I knew beforehand that I wanted to become a front-end developer, and oh, if I'm a front-end developer, I need to know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, then I would not have made that mistake. Being I'm a front-end developer, I know way more about the learning part for that. But looking at other places, you see like a back-end person. When you want to become a back-end developer, you have to ask yourself, what do I need to learn? What structures? If you go in learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then yeah, coming and wanting to be a back-end developer, and then realizing that oh, like that is not necessary, you'd have to start again. So that's why you have people like they start learning to program, they stop, and then they don't know how to like just keep at it because you have a lot of materials out there on the internet. Everybody's pushing their favorite programming language, and you won't know what to do or even how to start. So I said you should get started. Get the materials you need. Your laptop, your internet, the will. Then choose a specific career path. So with programmers, you have please let's save questions for later. There will be a question session. So you can be web developers are like the popular type of programmers, but they're actually much more. There's actually much more to programming. You don't have to be a front end or a back end. You have people that are game developers, right? And you have people that are game developers, and you have virtual reality, you have machine learning and data analysis. There are various aspects to programming, so don't box yourself in. In the material that I'm going to send, I send there, you see at the bottom there are useful links. You see links to different types of programming, and you would even see non like tech related roles or careers that don't involve core programming? Because I'm sure some people come in like interested in programming, but then they're not really in for the technical part. You realize that apart from core programming, that's typing actual code, there are other career paths related to tech that can still interest you if you realize that core programming is not what it is for you. Are we all following? So here you are, you've chosen a path. Let's assume you choose to be a front end person. You've done a little bit of your research, you Googled here and there, you message some people on Twitter, ask them about, and you're like, okay, I think I want to be a front end developer. That's cool. But you must not choose like it's a do or die situation. There are many instances where someone starts off as like a front end and person goes into back end and vice versa, or starts off as front end and enters product management or product design and everything. So this is just like the beginning of your coding journey. It's not the this don't bother yourself too much about it and make it seem like, oh, this is your 5 year course or something. Like this is just what you're going to start programming with. So don't overthink it. So let's assume someone new programming choose to be a front end developer. What happens next? You have to decide on where to learn. And that's a particular issue for me. When I started programming, I didn't even have like a specific goal. It wasn't as if, oh, I'm trying to work towards becoming a front end developer. There's a lot of things that like you won't know when you're starting. So and that's not how it should be. And that's the reason why I'm having this webinar to try and let you guys know all the things that I didn't know when starting out. I'm pretty lucky that when I started, the things I started learning are still useful to me. I didn't have to like start all over on another part. So I was saying that you have to choose a learning part. As for me, I really enjoy learning by reading, right? But I started learning off Udemy videos and tutorials. And it was after a while that I found Free Code Camp. So you should figure out your preferred mode of learning and then lean towards that. Even though like there are more materials on Udemy and Udemy and Udacity are actually learning platforms for programming and other courses, by the way. So even though all those platforms exist, it's good to follow a course. But just in case that course isn't like you're not really understanding it, you should try and figure out why you're not understanding it and you should back it up with like your preferred mode of learning. So you have things like um, you have things like Udacity. Udacity is a paid platform, though, but they have some free courses. You have Udemy, you have Free Code Camp, and you have Khan Academy, you have Code Academy, and you have YouTube. And I really push on YouTube because you have a choice. You have a lot of people out there, a lot of playlists, so you can choose. Even though it's not like people, it's not as organized as other platforms. I still think it's something that you should not undermine. You shouldn't underrate. You shouldn't underrate. Um, you shouldn't underrate YouTube. Yeah, that's what. You shouldn't underrate YouTube. So you should still check on YouTube for anything you're learning. You find information, you see questions that you have in mind being answered in the comment section, and that will really help you. So try and figure out, basically in summary, try and figure out what works out for you, your preferred mode of learning, and go after that. Okay, all right. Then you have to keep coding. You have to keep coding. Moving on to the next thing. So you've learned how to use HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay, now you're looking for React. Now you're looking for Angular. You keep moving on and searching for the next thing that you don't know. With what you've learned, what are you building? And when you build, you're going to face a lot of bugs. And that's where I feel like bugs, even though they're very annoying and persistent sometimes, when you've picked up certain skills, try and make sure that you're using those skills to build different tasks. I think if you even search on the internet, if that's the like you search a lot as a programmer, you're someone that looks for information basically. Like anything you don't know, not knowing something shouldn't even phase you because you have the whole internet at your disposal. So you search what what projects should I do as a or practice or try to create as a beginner in this? Like a very popular one with front end is the to-do list. You ask you to try and create a to-do list. So try and find what's the to-do list version of whatever path you are on, of whatever program you're learning. And then with that, when you keep working and you keep building your skills, then you'd be improving yourself and you'd be building up your confidence. So I mentioned that how are you finally going to land a job? That's next. That's what's next. You have been learning all of this thing, but how do you transition from being someone that's learning code, someone that actually gets difficult, but it's not impossible. Every programmer that you see out there, and there are a lot of programmers have gotten like their first job. So that means so a lot of people have done it. So you can also do it. Um, you can start from internships. That's where I started from. But I know that some of you like might not want to do that depending on like your age or like if you're like switching careers and everything, but that's just an opening, that's just an option. You can start with internships, and there are programs out there that even train people online. There's a Google Summit coming up. The link is in the material that I'll send after the webinar. So you can also try that. So you can try internships, and you should also apply. There are hackathons out there. You can apply for hackathons where you work as a team and start getting that experience. But basically, you just have to keep getting better. You just have to keep programming. So you'd see in the community, junior developer roles are being they're being supported, and it's we're in support of like hiring junior developers. So they're going to you see junior developer roles out there that you should apply for. And you should study and prepare for your job interviews. You just have to be committed and just be like best version of you. So as long as you're doing all that you should do, that's one thing I love with like the coding community. It's your hard work actually pays. So as long as you're working hard, you're building, you're contributing to open source, you're trying to get better, you're going to find a job. You're going to find a job. Like because there's a demand for programmers. So just keep programming, keep getting better, and you'll find a job. I actually feel like everything that I'm saying right now is like cliche, and there's no like, oh, mind blowing knowledge, but that's actually the truth. You just have to like do the things, they work. You have to keep programming, keep building, keep applying, and don't give up. To be a programmer, you have to be persistent. And in doing that, you can also customize your feed. I don't know how you heard about this webinar, but I'm assuming some of you heard about it from Twitter. My job at Bikecoins, I got into it via Twitter. I saw an opening for an internship at Bikepoint, and I applied for it on Twitter. But the opportunity would not have come to me if I was not following people that were like into programming and all of that. So you should also like customize your social feed. Try and follow people that are programmers, that are into tech, that retweet and are active. So when new opportunities come around, you would see them. I also added a link of Twitter accounts, like some recommendations that you can follow to help you see more programming opportunities and know what's happening in programming and tech sector so you won't miss opportunities that are out there. And you have to be confident. Don't oversell yourself though. Don't promise someone that I can build desktop, Android, and iOS, all of this for like 20K or something. Like, don't do that. Just be truthful, right? So, because so you won't like market developers as fraud or something. So, as first that. So, based on your knowledge, put out, um, put out, just put yourself out there and apply and let people like apply and work for people and do jobs. So from that, you also build your network and you'd also you'd also grow. I just realized that like I wasn't looking at the camera all this time, but I'll start looking at the camera now. So I think that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. I also have a blog post based on this topic. The link will be in the material, so you can also like check it out. There, I expatiated on this particular topic. You can start asking your questions. I think some people wrote some questions already, and I'll start checking it out. Um, okay. Pack wrote, "Hi Linda, thanks for the live stream. How about we that don't have a knowledge yet but are much interested in learning programming?" I don't know if you connected from the onstart, but you have to go and learn. Like, okay, if you're interested in it, then push yourself and start learning. What you need, if you have YouTube, you can start off from there. With both, if you don't have a laptop, you can borrow someone's laptop and you can start doing your research. You just think of what role you're interested in, what aspect of programming, and Google your way through. Is actually not that complex. But I know that when you're on the outside, it might seem a little bit complicated, but trust me, you just have to start searching for the knowledge and you come to it. Adeleke said, "My problem is that I need internship. I turned down 50K PPA as I'm a corporate, but since then I've not gotten a tech firm to intern in." Okay, as for me, actually, like I used to stay in Yola, Adamawa State, and actually left Yola and came all the way to Lagos for an internship role, and that's pretty much a risk, right? But I think I saw it like as an opportunity. The truth is that we live in Nigeria, and I don't see a lot of internship roles that often. That's just it. I think more more companies out there are trying to put more internship roles out there, but I can't really say. I can't really say. I can't like I don't own a lot of companies. I cannot create companies to start putting more interviews out there. But I'll have to ask: are you? How's your social feed? Do you follow a lot of programmers? I used to subscribe to newsletters. Like a good one is Follow. I don't know if you heard of Follow. I know that they have a weekly newsletter where in a way you see some of what's happening in the coding community. So whenever there is a new internship role, you probably see it there. So you can try checking out Follow. It's Follow. You should at least be more aware if there are new opportunities. Next, I'm very skilled. Okay, I think that's his CV. Okay, Ade, let me read it out. Adeleke is saying that he's very skilled in Node.js, React, MongoDB, and Vanilla.js. So you can check him out. Ire Ade is asking, what self study did you do before getting your internship? Okay, with my internship, before I applied, I knew a little bit of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but they also gave me study materials and about a week or two to go through them before writing the test. So I made sure that I studied those materials inside out, back and front, and they're basically the basic things of like how does the internet work, um, introduction to HTML and CSS and JavaScript. That was it. For an internship role, you don't need to obviously be an expert. You just need to have a good understanding of the basics. So you should go in with learning to understand and know, and not just learning to pass a test. Um, Pack said, I have a MacBook. What's the best app to learn with on a MacBook? I don't think it's even if you have a MacBook or a PC. I think I'll answer based on what's there on the internet, and I can't really answer for you because I'm not you, and I don't know what forms of learning um you works for you, but you depending on the path that you want to take. I started off with Udemy. I think Udemy is a good start because they have a lot of materials for a very at a very good rate, and they always have all these bonus or sales. They always have some sales here and there, and it's very easy to find promo codes, so you can start learning via Udemy. And the thing with them is that they usually go to the whole thing. You can see a course that takes you off for the whole web development journey. That's a full stack journey, starting off from front end all the way to back end. So you can find a course that teaches you the whole full stack journey, going for about I think 5K. So you can check out Udemy, but apart from it, you can see Udacity and the rest. Okay, Debbie is asking, does the quality of a course matter, or do you think knowledge is knowledge? Um, the quality of the course really matters. I've had situations where I was taking a paid course and I wasn't really getting what the guy was teaching. And I feel like the issue was then was The course was in code for beginners, but it was a little bit advanced. And I went to to YouTube and searched and actually found a better explanation. So we don't live in a perfect world, right? And finding a course that really gets you and has everything and does everything is actually really lucky sometimes. Find a course that covers all the topics and the want and isn't too fast and with a little bit of research here and there. So even if you have a course here, when let's say they reach a particular topic that you are not too familiar with, you can take a break and go and do a little bit of extensive research on that topic and understand that topic properly. Watch some YouTube videos, Google here and there, and then come back and continue with your course. So the quality of the course matters, but you should not try and be too bent on finding that perfect course. Okay, you have to make sure that you merge knowledge from here and there. But knowledge is not knowledge, but power is power. That's a Game Thrones reference. Okay, next question. Okay, I think the person just took back the question. But so I'll be rounding up. If there are no more questions, um, okay, it's back. Hmm. And do you think choosing the full stack development path is doable? Um, Honestly, I think it's kind of I think it's a little bit of a mouthful for a beginner to just want to go all the way. But um, but I think it's possible. You said is it doable? I think it's doable, but I think it's kind of a mouthful. I'd advise one to focus on a particular path first because I feel you'd most people that just go through the full path route at once don't end up being so strong in any of it. Or even if they are, they usually they tend to lean to one side, but it's doable. The knowledge is good, it's doable. And sometimes you can be a front end person with knowledge of the back end. It just means that even though you're full stack, it does not mean that like you juggle everything at once. It just means that if the need comes, you can easily lean towards back end. So I think it's doable, but based on depends on what you want. What duration of time would you recommend for internship? Um, it depends on what you're going to be doing at the end of the internship. What is expected of you? What what is going to be expected of you at the end of the internship? But I think 6 months is fine. I think 6 months is fine for an internship. If you're going to start up as a junior developer next. But the learning never ends. That's the truth. Like learning, if it's left to some people, like internship can go on for 2 years, but the truth is that you never become confident until like they push you out of the nest and you fly. So I think 6 months is fine for an internship and then going into a junior developer role. Um, Udemba Udemba said, "Oh, I just joined. I missed everything." Well, there's a summary. I'm going to send a summary of the webinar to everyone at the end, so you shouldn't worry. I think probably this is being recorded and will be available on my YouTube channel when we're done. Udemba asked for what development, what language would you recommend that a beginner starts with? Okay, when you say language, I don't know if you're speaking specifically as a programming language, but basically for web development, the typical front end part is you start off with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And you should know that you should have this Git, you should know Git, GitHub, know how to do that. And that's required for any developer. So like mm, that's like a foundation. So you can start off knowing Git, learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript if you are going for the front end path. And basically, if you're going for the back end, because HTML and CSS, which is typed front end, is not complex. It's something you can easily pick up in a week or two. You won't be perfect, but you would have enough knowledge on that. So you can start off with HTML and CSS, and then we go next to JavaScript. And with JavaScript, you can use JavaScript for front end, and then for back end, you can also use it as Node.js. So that's the part. So you can start with HTML and CSS. It's not complex. Pick it up. It's easy. It's funny if you say like you're a front end developer. If you say you're a programmer and you can't change the color of a button on your website, it's a little bit kind of somehow. So start with HTML and CSS, have fun with that, and then go to JavaScript. Mm, okay. Let me see if there are other questions. Okay, so the issue is that I changed the site of the webinar. I was trying to do a YouTube stream and everything. I wanted to be able to share my screen basically, but I feel I don't know being in Nigeria or me, my laptop wasn't ready for all of that. I couldn't do that. I couldn't, and so I'm still trying to figure out like the coding session. I think I don't know if I want to write some code in the comment section. That would work. I thought that would work, but I don't know what to do. Anyone have any ideas on that? That would be cool. But I really wanted to show you guys how easy it was to code, to know to just manipulate websites and everything. Mm, maybe I'll probably just like do a whole different webinar for that, where it will just be a coding session. Um, hmm, yeah, I tried to. It's the whole process. Okay, what's Bitcoin doing to accept mail? Because I can't speak for the founders, but maybe that'll come in next year. I don't know. But I feel like there's a huge gap. We accept both male and females for like programming roles and everything. But who knows? That might come in the future. We're just doing our part. Okay. Mm, Any more questions? Okay. Um, hold on. Okay. I just posted a link to a Zoom meeting. Let's see how that goes. Can try to connect to that. I really think I'm not really sure how smoothly that would transition. Okay. Wait. Oh, awesome. All right. So I really didn't want to do this method because I feel like how like everyone coming here and then moving there. But I feel you guys are up for that, so that's cool. So just move to the Zoom. some people are still on like the YouTube call, but you should just know that we have moved to the Zoom call. The link is in the chat.